Her name was Samantha. We'd been together for 3 intense years, a relationship marked by passion and intensity, leaving impressions that lingered long after it ended. We broke up 2 years ago. Back then, I thought I had lost something irreplaceable, but life kept moving forward. Slowly, deliberately, I rebuilt my routines, focused on work, and eventually met Laura, my new girlfriend. Laura was steady, thoughtful, intelligent, and calm. Everything Samantha wasn't in ways that made life feel lighter, quieter. She was the balance I hadn't realized I needed. It was a Thursday evening when everything changed. Laura and I were at home, preparing dinner together. The kind of comfortable silence that only comes after months of familiarity. The kitchen smelled of garlic and onions, a gentle background to our soft, meandering conversation about the ordinary details of our day. Life felt stable, predictable, peaceful. Then the doorbell rang. Unexpected. Packages didn't usually arrive this late. I froze, knives in hand, and glanced at Laura. She raised an eyebrow, the subtle signal she always gives when she senses my unease before I admit it. I walked to the door slowly, and there she was, Samantha. Slightly wind-blown hair, face illuminated by the warm glow of the porch light. 2 years had passed, and yet she appeared as if perfectly rehearsed. Every detail timed, every expression calculated. My first reaction wasn't anger, it was confusion. Why now? Why here? What could she possibly want after all this time? She offered a tentative smile, the same smile that had once made my heart race and my chest tighten. But this time my life had changed. My priorities had shifted, and someone else was already standing beside me. Laura opened the door. Samantha froze. Not because she didn't recognize me or the apartment. She did, but because the world she expected to step back into was no longer hers to enter. In that pause, I realized just how much had changed. Her gaze flicked past Laura and back to me. For a moment, the air thickened. The self-assurance she once carried effortlessly, the ability to command a room, faltered. She hadn't anticipated this. Not Laura's quiet composure. Not the subtle but unmistakable presence that clearly said she belonged here. I stayed still, silent. Silence has a power words cannot match. Laura tilted her head slightly, a minor gesture. But it spoke volumes. This is my space now. That alone seemed to unbalance Samantha. She shifted her weight, eyes darting to the welcome mat, then back at me. I didn't mean to, she began, her voice losing the certainty it had once held. I know why you're here, I said softly. Not accusatory, not defensive, just stating the obvious. But things are different now. Her lips parted, as if she were about to argue. To claim the past could be restored, but no words came. Her gaze landed on Laura. In that moment, understanding dawned. I had moved on. My life had moved on. What she thought she could disrupt was already built around someone else. Someone stable, present, steady. For a brief instant, I saw flickers of the past in her mind. Late-night drives. Laughter, arguments that once felt endless. But that life had moved on, and she was no longer part of it. Laura stepped forward slightly, closing the subtle gap between us. A quiet, firm boundary. Can I help you with something? She asked, calm, polite, unmistakably in control. Samantha hesitated. In that hesitation, I saw something I hadn't expected. Quiet regret. Not dramatic, not performative, but the sort that comes when you realize you've missed your chance. And someone else now holds the life you once imagined still belonged to you. I inhaled slowly, letting the silence stretch. 2 years had passed. Years of reflection, growth, learning patience, rebuilding self-respect. I wasn't about to let the past shake the foundation I had worked to build. Samantha shifted again, weight moving from foot to foot. Without a word, it was clear. She no longer had a place here. Not in me, not in my life, not in this home. She exhaled slowly, as if releasing 2 years' worth of unresolved tension. She looked at Laura and me, seeking a crack, an opening, a sign that she could return, but there was nothing. The door she once walked through effortlessly was now a threshold. She could no longer cross. I just thought, she started again. I raised a hand gently, not with anger, not with dismissal, but as a boundary. You thought wrong. This isn't your life anymore. Her shoulders slumped. The realization hit her. While she had been gone, Life hadn't paused. It had moved forward without her. Laura remained silent, calm, composed. Her presence alone spoke volumes. The woman I had chosen was steady, unshakable, present. That contrast said everything Samantha needed to understand. She glanced down, then back at me one last time. I just wanted to see if there was a chance. There isn't, I said quietly, simply. Truth, not cruelty. You're part of my past. That's where you belong. She nodded, faintly, as if expecting this answer. Her steps back were slow, measured, hesitant. One final closing of a chapter. I watched until the door clicked shut behind her. Laura and I remained in the kitchen for a moment, silence wrapping around us. Relief, not triumph, filled me. Relief for having stood my ground, honored the life I had built, and chosen someone who was present, reliable, deserving. We returned to cooking, conversation light, trivial. Life continued, steady, quiet, ordinary, and within that ordinariness lay comfort, trust, and above all, respect. Samantha's return had shaken nothing but reminded me of everything I had gained. Sometimes people return expecting to reclaim a place that no longer exists. And sometimes, the presence of the one you've chosen makes you realize how far you've come. Power isn't in words or gestures, it's in boundaries kept, choices honored, and the peace of living fully for yourself. That night, as I watched Laura smile softly over something trivial in the kitchen, I knew I had chosen correctly.